Okay, so looking at our test review, we have this question. 80% of the 540 students at A. MacArthur Bar Middle School have brown hair. How many students have brown hair? So I set up my double number line, percent on the bottom, number on the top. My 100% is all of the kids at the school, which is 540, and I'm trying to figure out what 80% would be. So I'm going to first figure out the 10% number, move my decimal point. 10% is 54. And so to get from 10 to 80, I'm going to multiply by 8. So 54 times 8 would give me my 80% answer, which would be 432. So 432 students. Okay, the one right next to it, the ratio of students to cafeteria workers to monitors at lunch is 8 to 3 to 1. If there are 192 people in the cafeteria during lunch, how many students are there? So there's 192 people, and we're looking for how many students. So all of these are people, students, cafeteria workers, monitors. So that would be everybody is 192. So my tape diagram is set up with 8 pieces to 3 to 1, just in the same order they gave it to me. So there is a total of 12 pieces of tape in here. So if I divide 192 by 12, I get 16. So that means every piece of tape is worth 16. All right, and my question is how many students are there? So there's 8 pieces of tape. So by doing 16 times 8, I get the answer, 128 students. All right, the next question is what is 18% of 95? I have 96 here. So 18% of 95. So I want to find the 1%, because if I find the 1%, I can find anything. So actually, I should have my 100% at the bottom and the 95 at the top. All right, so 1% of 95, I would have to divide 95 by 100 to be 0.95. Okay, so 100 divided by 1, or 100 divided by 100 is 1, and 95 divided by 100 is 0.95, and I need to find 18%. So to get from 1 to 18, I multiply it by 18. So 0.95 times 18 is 17.1. And that would be choice A. Okay, remember with multiple choice, you always have to show your work. If a bakery charges $25 for 4 dozen cookies, how much do they charge for 6 dozen cookies? So I set up my ratio money to dozen cookies. It's $25 for 4 dozen, and I want to figure out how much 1 is. 1 dozen, that is. So I'm going to divide that. So how many 4s are into 25? 6 times 4 is 24. And I get $6.25 for 1 dozen. So if I know how much 1 dozen is, I can figure out how much 6 dozen. 1 times 6, $6.25 times 6. So it would be $37.50 for 6 dozen cookies. Don't forget that dollar sign. Okay, Miles jogs 6 miles in 8 minutes, in 48 minutes. How long or far does he jog if he jogs for 64 minutes? So he jogs 6 miles in 48 minutes. We want to know how far does he jog if he jogs for 64 minutes. So we look at the table here. The value of the table is 8 to 1. So if I want to figure out the 64, I have 8 to 1 is equal to 64 over. Now it's just an equivalent ratio. And that missing number would be 8. Okay, so remember on a table, always find the value first. A car can drive 18.8 miles per gallon. How far can it drive on 5 gallons? So I set up my ratio of miles to gallons, 18.8 to 1. I'm trying to get to 5, so times 5 times 5. Now remember, this may not be the exact way that you solve your, how you did your work when you were solving them, and that's okay because as we've learned, there's more than one way to solve these problems. So our total would be 94 miles. All right, the ratio of students with brown eyes to blue or green eyes is 12 to 3. If 156 students have brown eyes, how many have blue or green eyes? So we're going to have brown and then a blue or green. Set up our tape diagram. It's in a ratio of 12 to 3. And there's 156 students have brown eyes, so that would be this part right here. And that 156 would be divided by 12. And we see each piece of tape is worth 13. So if we're looking for students who have blue or green eyes, there's 3 pieces of tape with 13 each. Gives me a total of 39 students. Okay, Carly saved 25% on the new sweater she bought. That amounted to a savings of $8.50. What was the original cost of the sweater? So if 25% was $8.50, and I'm trying to find 100%, let me build up to 50%. So 25 times 2, so this would be times 2 would be 17. And then to get to 50% to 100 times 2 times 2, that would give me 34. So the original price of the sweater would be $34. All right, and lastly, Trina bought 2 pairs of pants that were on sale for 40% off, and she paid a total of $55. What was the original cost of each pair of pants? This is the one that we've been reviewing. So if I start off with my double number line, what I have to remember that if it was 40% off, this is what we saved, then this is what was spent. So if this is the 40%, that means we spent 60%. So that $55 is the 60% number, because that's how much I spent. So again, I'm going to break it down, find the 10% number. So 60 divided by 6 would give me 10. So I need to divide this 55 by 6. Whoops, 9 times 6 is 54. It looks like it's going to be repeating decimal. It's not going to come out so well. Well, that would round to $9.17. So the $9.17 would be the 10% number. Times that by 10 to get 91.70 as the 100% number. And then that was the cost for 2 pairs of pants. So our last step would be to divide that 91.70 in half. And we get $45.85 is the regular price of each pair of pants.